As college students, we're under a lot of stress. It's not just going to lectures and completing endless assignments with little to no errors. It's everything in between. We have to go to work, tend to others, and somehow find time to tend to ourselves. Needless to say, it's exhausting. No wonder why the American College Health Association reported 39% of college students to feel depressed during the 2017 academic school year. Depression is defined as a common yet serious mental illness that affects how you feel by the American Psychiatric Association, conducted by Dr. Rana Parekh. This mental illness has become an epidemic, and college students have not been exempted from it. As a college student myself, I have experienced depression, and according to the statistics, 15 others of you have also experienced it as well. It's not something to be ashamed about, it's something to be open about in order to find solutions. And before you think about it, no, dropping out is not the best fix. For those in this room who have experienced feelings of despair, inadequacy, and unfulfillment, know you are not alone. Next, take a look into your diet. I know we are typical college students who probably eat a typical college diet, ramen and whatever's in the fridge, but maybe that's exactly the problem. So, to start understanding the connection between food and depression, let's look into our brains. A brain structure called the hippocampus is in charge of regulation and emotions. According to the Human Memory Sites article, The Memory Process, published in 2017, the hippocampus is part of the limbic system, which controls our emotion, learning, motivation, memory, and instincts. Since we're talking about depression, we'll be focusing on emotion and motivation. The emotions dealt with the hippocampus are then influenced by what we eat. When consuming unhealthy foods, we are most likely to feel depressed. Calorically dense foods, also known as junk food, leave our brains with no energy. Leave our brains with no energy. This leads to wanting to stay home and be alone in our beds with a blanket over our heads and the blinds shut tight. Eating highly processed, sugar-refined foods promotes stress, which then influences our depressed feelings. In a Harvard Health publishing in 2018 called Understanding the Stress Response, Dr. Herbert Benson describes stress to have long-term effects on physical and psychological health. In turn, this is damaging to the brain because when we put under too much stress, our emotions controlled in that same place are negatively changed. As you may recall, I asked you to look into your diet. What's a typical day for you? Dunkin' Donuts in the morning, a ham sandwich for lunch, and McDonald's for dinner? Well, if it is, don't be ashamed. It's a typical American diet. Detailed Nutrition Epidemiology and Public Health, done by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2013 by Jun Lai and others, found that people who followed a typical Western diet were much likely to see inflammation in their bodies, further influencing their overall mood. These prevalent links between unhealthy food and depression parallel links between healthy food and positive feelings. The same study I just mentioned also studied people who followed a Mediterranean diet. This diet typically includes fruits, vegetables, and grains. The study found that people who followed a Mediterranean diet were 30% less likely to feel depressed than that of a Western diet. Healthier foods also supply the body with essential nutrients. The more colorful your diet is, the healthier you are. When supplied with these essential nutrients, the body functions at a higher capacity. This goes back to motivation. When functioning at a higher capacity, we are motivated and we are productive. No more blankets over our heads anymore. These links show the importance of eating healthy and why we should apply it to our lives. It's not just about losing weight or showing off self-discipline. It's much more than that. It's about mental health. As college students, we are at the peak of our lives. Most of us are around late teens and early 20s, which means having fun and enjoying life before it gets too complicated. But speaking first-handed, it already feels too complicated. You learn today, you will, hopefully, be more mindful about what you're putting into your body. When given the right foods, the hippocampus will deliver your brain with positive emotions and be rid you of despaired feelings. Now, I'm not saying food is the complete cure, but the connection it has is vital to note and to apply to your own life to no longer feel the burden of despair. Just remember, eat better, feel better.